Hi, Laughing Lounge fam. It's Angelica. And before we dive into this week's episode, I wanted to share something quick about Pittsburgh. If you are in the Pittsburgh area, if you are traveling to Pittsburgh anytime soon, I recommend going to the Strip District Terminal, where on Saturdays from 11 to 3, they have pop-up shops for small businesses in the area. Today, me and Lauren also stopped by Chamie at Pittsburgh, and she got us good with some perfect permanent jewelry. And I actually have 5 pieces from her, and Lauren got her first bracelet today. If you have any interest in permanent jewelry, or if you want to shop around at the Strip District Terminal, I would recommend that 100%. And if you are interested in permanent jewelry, reach out to Jamie up. When we drop our episode today at 8 p.m., I will be sure to tag her in our episode, and I will be sure to tag her on our Instagram story. I hope that you guys enjoyed this week's episode. It is dear to my heart. My little brother, Patrell, is on this episode with us as we navigate and talk about married parents versus divorced parents. I hope that you guys tune in.
Before we dive in, we want to remind you that this episode covers personal and sometimes sensitive topics around family, divorce, and relationships.
Our conversations are based on our own experiences and perspectives and are meant to offer support and understanding, not professional advice.
If any of the topics we discuss bring up difficult feelings or memories for you, please take care of yourself. Reach out to trusted friends, family, or a mental health professional if you need extra support.
Your well-being matters, and we're so grateful you're here with us today.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Laughing Lounge. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Angelica.
And today we're diving into a topic that hits home for a lot of folks. Growing up with divorced parents versus married parents.
That's right, we're bringing you real talk from different angles. Me and my little brother Patrell sharing our experiences with divorced parents and step-parents. And Lauren's perspective growing up with married parents.
It's going to be a mix of deep feels, awkward moments, and lots of laughs. So let's get into it. Angelica, I'll start with you. What's something about your parents' divorce that you didn't realize until you got older?
I think that I didn't understand what was actually going on. And for reference, my mom never talked bad about my dad to me or my siblings.
Duty. Did you ever feel caught in the middle between mom and dad? How did you handle it?
Honestly, I feel like I did get caught into it, but like being the youngest, it wasn't really known to me that I was caught in the middle yet until I look back on it. Like, for example, there was this one time where, I guess our little sister was out, like something happened, and I was in the car with my dad, and we drove to, not my stepmom at the time, but their house, and he basically told me don't tell anyone. So like I didn't know that until later. So it felt like I was keeping secrets from mom that I didn't know were secrets until many years afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how did your parents' divorce change the way you think about relationships or commitment?
I mean, I think there was a little bit of fear, right? Like, especially like I for years, like I wanted to be married, I want to be married, I want to be married, but there's also those fears. Like, I don't want my relationship and my marriage to end where their marriage and relationship ended. But also, I also had to realize for myself that just because, those things did happen, if there's things that can happen in my relationship that I will try my best to make sure that those things won't make me act out in fear, like the communication. And just because you're fearful of something happening because you went through it when you were younger, that you want to make sure you don't have that for yourself or for your significant other.
Mm-hmm. Judy, was there ever a moment you felt like you had to choose a side?
I feel like a couple times. This was more around the time like the divorce was actually happening. Like I went to a court date once or twice and felt like it was us versus them. Whenever I went with mom, then whenever my dad talked with me, it felt like them versus us again. Like I don't know. I felt like I had to choose a side in the sense that I didn't understand again what was happening. Like it felt like they were not pitting me against each other, but I could see the divide.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you guys when they actually started the process of the divorce?
I mean, I like really try to like block that block it out in my mind because there's a lot of things that tie into everything. Now, I think that you had to be like 6 or 7.
Because it was 2007 is the oldest number that I heard. That's whenever it was initialized, and then it wasn't official till like 2010, 2011.
Because our grandfather passed away in like 2010. So I think maybe, I'm not great with numbers, but I think I was maybe 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
But we also don't have a big age gap. So it might have even been younger than that. But I will preface, like, our mom never really talked bad about our dad in front of us. Mm-hmm. Or I don't think she really talked bad about him at all. And one thing I can say about our mom is she handled herself with so much grace. And the way she was treated, and she did everything she could to make sure that, her family wouldn't be, ripped apart and nothing was going to come between that. But she gave herself and our dad a lot of grace. The way she handled herself, the way she, showed up for her 4 children, and she realized like enough was enough, and she wasn't going to put herself or us through that again.
Mm-hmm. Ange, what was one thing you wish that your parents had done differently during the divorce?
I honestly think that my mom did everything that she could to protect us, and she didn't want us to look at our dad in a different light. But I do wish that our dad would have done the same thing. And I think I still struggle with that now. Like, yes, I'm 27, but I wish, like, the same way that my mom didn't, talk bad about him, I wish that, he didn't do that. And, our relationship with our stepmom is not, I wouldn't say the strongest, but I mean, that also comes with things that has happened prior to that. Mm-hmm. I mean, my relationship with my stepdad is a lot stronger than it is with my stepmom. But a lot of that played a part into that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we really dive into the family stories, I want to talk about something huge that often gets overlooked: how marriages, divorce, and family changes impact mental health and anxiety.
I mean, growing up in a divorced family, like a divorced parents, I mean, there was a lot of anxiety into that. And at the time, I think we talked about it in the episode we did with Stephanie. Like, you don't realize you have anxiety when you're younger until you're older and like, okay, maybe that's what it is, because I felt like that years ago. Mm-hmm. But also, when my mom would say, we'd come home from school on a Friday and she would say, it's time to pack your bag. You can ask Duty, like, I would be really upset. Like, I understand we have to split our time with him, but at the time I would rather be here than there. But again, we've also seen some things that weren't things that we should have seen at our young ages.
Do you have any input in that?
Yeah, I think definitely. I don't know the right word for it, but it definitely affected me in a way that, again, like being the youngest, you don't really understand what's happening a lot of the time. But when you look back, you see certain things that did affect. Oh, like, okay, that makes sense now. That's why I thought this or I felt like that. So like, it definitely did affect me, and it was tough, especially because it also led to us moving around a lot, and so basically, like, I bounced around from a few different schools. So if I knew I wasn't going to be in a place long, I knew I had to like act quick. I need to be cool with this person, make my friends, because I don't know how long I'm going to have. So it kind of helped me in a sense of I just got very personable. So like I was just talking with people more, became a bit funnier, just to be able to like push the conversation aside, because I didn't have a full school year to make a friend.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I went to South Park in March. Mm-hmm. Like I had 2 months. I had 2-3 months to make a friend. You know what I mean. So it was definitely tough in that sense, but it helped me. I guess learn myself and just grow, because I had to grow faster than
your average child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also too, like, you already have the anxiety of like starting a new school, right? And as much as I hated the fact that our mom said that we were going to go to like charter schools, and whenever I went to Propel, like I was so angry because I'm like, I really wanted to try like the public school setting, but then you realize that she not only did that to make sure that we were secure in a place, but she did it to make sure that she knows that we will have some stability. And because we had to move, I do not fault our mom for that at all, because she did the best that she could with the cards that she was dealt. And every time we moved, we thought, this is where we would be. And we didn't know the full situations. I think the only person that really fully knew out of all of our siblings what was going on is our older sister, Ashley. Because there is a huge age gap between, her and Duty. And then not huge, but there's an age gap between me and her. But after, you realize everything that happened, you're like, okay, she put us in a charter school because no matter where we move, we can still stay in the school no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, like, even with married parents, I feel like the different pressure and everything like that, it definitely takes a toll on your mental and just everything, honestly. Like, it can trigger anxiety and everything like that differently.
Yeah. And also, like, significant others, too. Like, my husband's parents have been married for a long time. And same with, your significant other. Like, see, they've been married for a long time. So the dynamics are different. Not something that, like, oh, I'm not used to that. We saw it, but we didn't see the truth of it all, right? We remember, I don't know if he remembers, but I remember having to hear, my mom upset and sad because of X, Y, and Z that were going on, but I didn't know the full detail. I only heard or saw that she was upset, but she still put on a face and made sure that she was strong for her kids.
She was still there for you guys.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's why it's so important to talk about and hear different people's sides of the story. That way it can break down the stigma and remind everyone listening it's okay to feel overwhelmed, and it's okay because other people have this certain situation that you guys are experiencing, and it might help somebody listening to your guys' stories and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if moving or family drama is making your anxiety worse, I don't think that, people really realize that, right? Like, we were just on the family vacation in, was that July? And me and my brother had like a really heart-to-heart conversation because not only, not going into detail, not only was I struggling in that moment, but like my anxiety was like really, really bad. And to have, an outlook, somebody else's perspective on like, you're not crazy and you're thinking like this, but having somebody that you can go to, sibling, parent, significant other. But like, as we got older, we became a lot closer. You know what I mean? And we were able to sit down and have a conversation with each other, not fully about, things of, going into the divorce detail by detail, but I can understand his perspective. He can understand mine. And I will say that my relationship with our dad is different than his relationship with our
dad. Totally.
And like, just piggybacking off of that, as well as being the youngest, like the age gap between me and Ashley is 10 years. And then me and Marcus is 7, and me and Angel is 3. So like, by the time I could even like put a word to how I felt, everyone was basically out of the house already. So sometimes it felt like I was alone in how I felt, because I'm like, well, who can I talk to if I'm 16? She's pursuing her career. Marcus has already moved out, and Angel's in college. It's like there really isn't much like I could do. So it really kind of made me like close myself in emotionally for a while, because as soon as I could put a word to how I felt, there was no one that I knew went through the same thing that was near me at the time.
Definitely. And like adulting on top of that, like all of these feelings is hard. Like I'm sure your mom had a hard time like bouncing back into like single life, and then like trying to find somebody and then also find that person that was like okay to bring around you guys.
Yeah. I mean, the first day I met my stepdad, he knocked on the door, I opened up the door, asked him who he was, he told me who he was, and I closed the door in his face. I was like, we're not doing that. Because like my mom was also very, open with certain things, but like I knew that the relationship wasn't as blossomed because, she was open and honest about that. She didn't even know he was coming that day. So like, and I literally had a mental breakdown because those wounds are so open still, and like it's hard to think about your mom being with somebody else because you saw her with your dad for 15, 16 years, and then when he comes in, the nicest person, but I'm like, I'm not talking to you, like, nope, yeah. Like,
yeah, you're not my dad.
Yeah, and that's hard to. I had a hard time with that myself. And I think out of all of us, I think I'm the closest to him. But it was still hard for me to swallow that. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know he wasn't here to replace our dad. I know that. It was said that he wasn't here to replace, but it's like rubbing salt into the wound, especially a wound that at that age we didn't understand all the details. I didn't know all the details until I was well over 18.
Switching gears, how was it welcoming step-parents into the mix? Angelica, how did it feel weird at first, or like a fresh start?
I mean, it felt weird. I'm about to get into it. It felt weird from my dad's side, and I think that we all know why. But I also think that the way that everything went down, with everything that happened, he was not faithful to my mom, and the person he was not faithful with, that he was unfaithful with, is now our stepmom. And that is a lot to unpack when you're 14, 15, 16, because you don't think it's going to be, they're still going to be together, right? Like, I don't know however other people feel, but I'm like, if you're going to have somebody else, like on that you're talking to that's outside of your marriage and you're stepping out on top of your marriage, those people still technically are not together. Mm-hmm. And also, like, he had a baby on our mom. So not only do we have to deal with the anger and the anxiety and the stress, and then you find out that you have a younger sister, and then you have to put together that younger sister is not with your mom, it's with your dad's child with somebody else. And then at the time we were in church, so the church that we grew up in, my mom faced everything with so much grace that she even would, want her marriage to work, and she even would help them with our little sister. She did anything that she could to make it work. But mm-hmm. I think that's why I always had a hard time of being so accepting to that, because of how that situation went down. Now, when my stepdad came around, like I said, I closed the door in his face. I did get to know him. I think that whenever I finally was able to like let that guard down open, it was like, I forget what year it was, but it was Christmas, and he got me my favorite Bath and Body Works scent, and it was at the time it was Paris Amour. But that Christmas year, they came out with like a gold shimmery collection, and he got every single piece of that collection for me, on top of the old school triangular hand sanitizer holder, and it was like a pink poodle.
Oh, and he already got it.
I still remember that. I think that Christmas was probably like my favorite gift, like that anybody has gotten me. But also Christmases and holidays, and also being promised that our dad would come and pick us up, and then we'd be waiting by the door for hours. I'm not talking like 1 or 2 hours, a full day. Call and I answer, said that he was still coming, didn't show up. Like, we didn't have to worry about the false promises on this side, because if they couldn't do something, they would tell us that they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Over here, it's like, we're going to come and get you at 12 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock at night, and you're still not here.
Yeah. And off of that, I mean, it got to a point where if, like, I was on the phone with my dad or anything, and he said something like, I never got my hopes up. So it was like, after 3, 4, 5, I was like, all right, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. But, like, after a while, I just stopped getting my hopes up. And, like, to his credit now, he was a lot better. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm a lot closer with him now. But at that time, it was basically like a phone call and, sure, okay, I hear you. But then it was like nothing came to it.
Yeah. And, like, we do have an older sister, Jaquela. She's older than us. There's a huge age gap there, but We don't see her as much now, but we used to see her all the time when we were younger, especially when we would go to Ohio to see our grandfather. But our relationship has come a long way with our dad, right? And like also to give him grace as well, that like he was also dealing with a lot of things himself, and not to judge everything that he has done, but I think he's learned a lot, especially us growing up into the adults that we are. And he did help raise us in some sense too. Like a lot of the things, like I have a lot of his traits, he has a lot of his traits. But also that hurt and stuff might not go away. It really doesn't go away. Like, you still think about that, but you also can't. What's the word? You can't keep judging that. You can't hold it against him forever. Like I learned to, we had a deep conversation about everything that went down, and I was able to forgive him for a lot of things. Is that anxiety and pain still there? Absolutely. But I also try not to put that on to my younger siblings either, because it's not their fault.
Mm-hmm. Duty, what surprised you most about having step parents?
I mean, honestly, the only how do I say this, experience with step parents was through like television and movies. So I'm like, okay, it's either going to be like Prince Charming comes flying in and saves the day, or it's going to be like, oh, this is the worst person in the world, but my mom can't see it. So like it was like I didn't know what it was, and at the time, as a kid, I didn't see adults as humans yet. If you know what I mean, they were more like robots who should have everything figured out. It wasn't until I got older when I could see that my mom wasn't just my mom. My mom was a woman. She was someone's daughter. She was someone's sister. So once I started to relate to them as humans, it just, I guess I put my own wall down. Like again, I was like to myself a lot. So like I didn't really interact with either of them, to be honest, early on.
Right. He didn't. But he was also like the baby. So like he still is the baby of the family, but like he was younger. So like for instance, like a normal child's Saturday would be spent playing in the yard with your friends in the neighborhood. His Saturdays were filled at the football field. So like he was in midget league football, and that took up majority of the weekend. So like even if he wanted to even remotely have a conversation, I think he was like physically and mentally exhausted from all the practices, especially the practices after school. And I will say like our dad was also one of his football coaches too on his team, so they were able to spend that time together as well. But it's like that's crazy that you said that, because if you really think about it, as a younger child, you don't really realize like you are having to talk to these adults. Like you realize adults that are speaking like, yeah, you're just telling me what to do, but like no, they are humans. They do have feelings, and her feelings, my mom's feelings were valid and deep. But if it wasn't for me hearing her be upset or and my door cracked and like hearing things, and like I would have probably never known that she was going through so much.
Yeah. Any funny or awkward moments with step parents you want to share?
I have a lot of awkward stuff. It was along with our stepdad. It was awkward because again, I didn't really interact with my stepmom or my stepdad. So like, I didn't do much. I didn't really come out of my room. So like, mom would be like, okay, like go do this, go do that with him. Like for example, we were still in Braddock Hill, so this is many years ago. We built the smoker that's out back. We built that together. Most awkward experience ever because we barely said 10 words to each other, but we're here building a smoker together, and I think that kind of helped. But it was very awkward at the moment, for me at least, because, as a teenage boy, I'm like, don't really, I want to play video games, man.
I don't want to do that.
And I'm building a DIY smoker, with someone I don't really know. So it was like, it was super awkward at the time, but every time I go to like cut the grass or I'm in the back, I look at the smoker and I'm like, that's a symbol of our relationship. Now it's old and rusty. Probably like him now, it's old, rusty, down, but it's a symbol of something that we built that's still standing. So it's very symbolic to me.
And I also like want to like touch point on that, like being a step parent, like and a stepdad, like it is hard to be a step parent because you don't know what the relationship is like with your stepchildren's father. And the one thing that I can say is like it's hard to, as a stepdaughter or stepson, you never want to compare the two. You don't want to compare your stepdad to your dad or your stepmom to your mom. But like for somebody to be able to step up and take care of children and be there for the children that, are not his, but it's his wife's, it takes a lot. Same for my stepmom, and every time we go over there, more than warm and welcoming when we're there. And it could be awkward still for those because sometimes she may wish that our relationship is different. But I will say that I think at any point, anytime we come together, if we absolutely need to, there was a health situation with our dad, and we and him dropped everything and went, and our stepmom was there, our significant others were there, and no matter what, I mean, I think you can agree we will be there for either side. If she needed something, if our dad needed something, if our stepdad needed something, if our mom needed something, but it's easier said than done for someone who is a stepdad or a stepmom to bring in kids of their own because they want to make sure they're not stepping on toes of the parent.
Which house was more strict?
This
one.
100%.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we had some very weird and arbitrary rules.
You want to elaborate?
Yeah. So when we were in school, and mind you, we were in high school together for 1 year. At one point, I was a freshman, she was a senior. But all throughout school, like grade school, we would have to turn our phones in at 9 p.m. to our mom. So 9 p.m. on the dot, we could no longer have a cell phone until the next morning. And it sucked. I was like a 14-year-old, 15-year-old boy with no phone at night.
That's how my mom was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I had to put my phone in downstairs. Like it wasn't like I had to give it to her and be in there. But I definitely would.
Phone chargers were downstairs.
Yeah. The thing is, she was downstairs and she would lock her door, so we couldn't get our phones even if we tried to.
Oh, yeah, no, my mom wasn't that strict.
And the crazy part is, it would be like 8:55. And I would tell them, like, oh man, I gotta hurry up and like scroll on my Snapchat. This is before TikTok was a thing. Go on Instagram, go on Kik, send your messages like, all right, friends, Kik. I'll talk to you tomorrow when I'm at the bus stop. And then you hear that announcement, all right, phones downstairs. I'm like, dang.
And I used to, my friends always ask, why are you never like, I text you at like 10:30, what are you doing? I'm like, I will lie. I'm like, I'm watching TV after 9 o'clock, so I'm not really on my phone. Just flat out lying.
It is, I mean, as in high school, senior, like I'm a senior and I'm still sitting on my phone down at 9 o'clock. Like what? And I'm a night owl. I'm a night owl.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like I'm sitting straight up. Thank goodness we had TVs in our room. I mean, and I still don't understand the logic behind that. I still don't get it.
I'll never get it.
No, because like people nowadays use their phone as their alarm.
Yeah.
It's like I could never.
And this was before we had Mallow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we got Mallow, I was in college. You were a senior.
Yeah. And I was still, regarding rules, when I was still like, I couldn't really have my PlayStation in my own room. It had to be out in the living room so she could see what I was playing. I couldn't play like GTA and all that. Couldn't watch Family Guy. I love Family Guy now. I couldn't do any of that. Growing up, we couldn't watch anything with witchcraft, so Wizards of Waverly Place.
Witchcraft?
Yeah.
That's So Raven.
That's So Raven. We went out to watch that. I couldn't read Harry Potter.
We couldn't watch Cat Dog.
Yeah, cool.
My mom hated that show.
And we also, like, again, like, we grew up in the church, so, like, we, like, on Halloween, we would be at church. It would be, like, celebrate Jesus. We would, dress up as Bible characters. And when I tell you we would eat, we would win. Every year, and it's crazy because we were all in different age groups except for our older brother and older sister. But my mom, like, and again in that time, like, you would not have known that technically her life has fallen. Like every single brick that she built has fallen, has collapsed. Like she still showed up for us, still did what she needed to do. And mind you, she had 4 kids and was working 45 minutes away in like Mount Lebanon area. Came home. Would still cook us dinner, would still do things for us, take us school shopping, do all the things that, I don't know how other people, families operate, but like as an adult now, I don't think that I would have that much strength as she did.
100%. And it also helped, from my perspective of being the youngest, it's like I also had 3 people above me that were also helping. I felt like what this weighed the most probably on Ashley because being the older sister, like again, like what Andrew just said, like when you're stretched so thin, things are gonna fall through the cracks. So I felt like Ashley really picked up off of that with barely any recognition. The very first time I even said thank you for everything she did growing up was whenever we went to the cabin the very first time. Because we were at the fire pit and we were just talking for a bit. And I was telling mom like sort of my perspective of growing up and just thanking her for how strong she was. And it came to my head like I never thanked Ashley for everything she did as well because she did a lot behind the scenes
that we didn't know about. Probably that we still don't know about.
and probably she'll never tell us because she's not the type of person that will like say, "Well, I did all this for you growing up." She just did it. So I called her and thanked her that day because she probably picked up everything we couldn't see. You know what I mean?
And then, like looking back at it, like those text messages that like your older sister will send you about, making sure that you're doing this, making sure that you're doing that when she's away, and then you get annoyed, like, well, I am doing these things, but it's like not from a place of being rude or like malicious. Like it's I want to make sure that you guys are doing what you're supposed to do, even though I'm not home. And I know that I'm the older sister, but I want to make sure that you guys are in line, even though I'm not physically here.
I remember this is whenever she worked at the rink downtown. She would bring me on her shifts if mom had to do something.
Yeah.
I would be downtown at the rink for her entire shift. I'm gonna date myself here. I would skate around the tree with her iPod shuffle, and I would listen to just music her whole shift. I would be there the whole day, and in my head I was having the most fun in the world, but in her head she was watching her little brother while working. So I couldn't imagine how stressful that was for her.
And like we say it to her all the time, but she listens to our podcast. So Jazzy, I appreciate everything that you have done for us, especially growing up. And it's hard being the older sister. Oh God. And having to deal with all the pressure, especially holding up her mom in the most stressful times. So I love you.
Got our first tears. Made it almost the whole time.
I mean, it is. I mean, I can't even. I'm an older sister, but I can't even imagine the weight of it all. And everything, like I tell Diddy this all the time. Everything my mom feels, I feel like I feel it like 10 times harder for her. And I think I don't feel it that much for her because, again, cracking the door open, making sure that she's okay, or hearing her cry at night because she's upset. I mean, I feel things 10 times harder for her now when I'm an adult. So when she's upset, just know that I'm pissed. So. Lo, it's your turn.
Oh no.
I want to flip the script a bit. Ask you about your experience growing up with married parents. What was it like for you?
I mean, it was pretty chill. I was the baby, and my dad was actually in a relationship before he got with my mom. So I have an older stepsister and an older stepbrother, and then I have my one sister, like from my mom and my dad, and then it's me. So I was the baby, and then me and my sister, Marissa, are 6 years apart. So I mean that was kind of we were pretty close, but like she also, when we were growing up, she would just kind of like think of me as the annoying younger sister that she could tell what to do all the time. But like it really wasn't that bad. Like my mom, she stayed at home with us while my dad worked, and she didn't really get a job until I was like freshman in high school, maybe a little bit before that. So I mean, it was just my mom holding down the fort, and my dad while he was at work, and my aunt was always around too. So we were always out doing something. If my dad was like out of town, we would go and like we would. Well, one time we went and bought a Wii while he was out of town and he didn't know. So like we were always causing problems.
I mean, I feel like I'm not the baby, really. I'm not even the baby on my dad's side. I'm the second oldest. So it's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is like. I mean, I'm the youngest daughter on my mom's side, but like, I'm not the baby. Were there things about having married parents that you took for granted or really didn't notice until hearing about, my experience?
Definitely. I mean, we had the two, my mom and dad. It was just them the whole time. Like, we never had to worry about going to someone else's house or like your dad's house for Thanksgiving, Christmas. Like, it was always just together as a family. And I only had one set of parents. And, well, when I was growing up, we only had my mom's grandparents because my dad's parents died when I was pretty young. So I didn't really get to know them that well. So it was really just my mom's parents and then my mom and dad. Like, so they helped us a lot. Yeah.
I love that. What's one thing about your family dynamic that you think worked really well?
I mean, we were always hanging out together. We have a tradition for New Year's that we always play games and wait for the ball to drop. And we always hug after and I don't know. We always we have so much love in our family. And we're always I mean, I'm not one to text my sister because my sister lives in Florida, so I don't really text her too much and everything like that. But when we are together, it's we're kind of inseparable.
Yeah, you don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, our sister actually lives in Philly, and I actually just saw her last month. And she's completely opposite. Like, I feel all the feels. She's unless she's really upset about something, that she is not an emotional person. But it was just so nice just being there. I just won the lottery, sitting in her apartment. She kept saying, you haven't seen my apartment yet, you haven't seen my apartment yet. And I was able to go and just spend the weekend with her and my mom and, her significant other, Amari. And it was really nice. And when it was time to leave, I was actually kind of sad. I'm like, she's never coming back here. She loves to live out of the state. Or not the state, but not in Pittsburgh. So, she loves where she's at. But we don't text a lot either. I don't think you guys text a lot either.
Well, my mom and my sister, they literally talk on the phone every single day. And I'm I mean, I'm still alive, but I'm not going to text you every day.
Me and my mom work for the same company. We ride to work together. And I still have to hear her voice every day. While she's at work.
Me and my mom work together.
Yeah.
We ride every morning to work.
I have to make sure that I know that she's okay because she dropped me off or I dropped her off at work. But I have to hear her voice at some point during the day. I need to know where she's going at all times. I have her location so we know where she's at. And what about challenges? Did you ever feel pressure to keep up an appearance because your parents were married? I don't know.
No, not really.
I feel too in high school, our friend group had a little bit of half and half, right? Mm-hmm. Half of our friends had married parents, and then I think 2, 3, 4 of us had parents who were not, or were divorced and then had step parents.
Or single parents.
Or single parents. It was very dynamic. I don't know about your friend group.
Honestly, in my friend group, the way I can think of it, my closest friend went through something similar as well. A decent bit did come from 2-parent households, though. But they were more like ours now, step parents. So I guess they do have experiences, but we never really open up too much about family dynamics, except more baseline stuff. They do know some baseline things about me and my family, but they'll never know the real story because I just feel not that I'm ashamed of it or anything like that, but I feel it's so much to put on someone else.
Right.
That I don't know how much emotional weight they're holding themselves.
Right.
So I feel wrong to put mine on them as well. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
I also feel when me and Steve first got together, I didn't want to trauma dump, right?
Yeah.
It's like day one of meeting. You're like, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You're the same way with me, too.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to trauma dump, but she also knows when something, like, is really heavy. Or he knows now, like, when something's really heavy. So whenever I was able to share, like I said, like, again, like, not go into detail. I didn't really go into detail with Steve until I think we got engaged. And we were, like, 5 years in. Like, you want to make sure that you're in a safe, secure relationship. I mean, I am, but it's like you don't want to scare somebody off, right? And like, and I told him, I said, my end goal in this relationship is to eventually be married, and these are my fears with that, and this is what I don't want with that, and this is like, if our time comes and we do have children, I want to make sure that we can do everything we can to make it work, right? So that we're not, so I don't feel like the pressure to have to uphold something. No, I mean that can be an extra stressor. Yeah, whatever that word is. How do you think about, like, what do you think about, like, we have a lot of cousins, right? And our cousin dynamic, I feel like a lot of our cousins, we were closer with our cousins when we were younger because we did absolutely everything together. But I think whenever our parents were going through the divorce, nobody, like, cousins especially, are old enough, like, really didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was there a specific cousin that you went to?
Honestly, no, because at that point in time, I was kind of in the middle of everything. Like, around that time, we were just now leaving the church, so I wasn't seeing, Romeo and Jordan much. I wasn't really going over to their house because they were across town. We were, they were in Hazelwood. We were everywhere else around the city.
Yeah.
And they were the closest ones to my age. And then at that time, I also didn't really see Darnell much because, again, he was in Homestead and I was everywhere else. So it never really felt like I could go to anyone. And then by the time, again, like going back to my earlier points, when I finally put a word to it, I didn't have anyone there at the time. You know what I mean? When we were living in Braddock Hills, I was basically school and back home.
Yeah.
So like I was mostly like just thinking of everything by myself at that time.
Right, and we touched base on this a little bit on a couple episodes ago, and we talked about how, like, whenever our grandfather was alive, our dad's dad, and I said, like, when we would go to Ohio, we would spend the summers in Ohio, and I feel like every single thing that we were worried about all went out the door when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure he knew more than what he wanted to lead on, but when we walked through those doors, one, at the time, I know for a fact, when it was like 2007, 2008, that he was sick, but we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we walked through the door, like, all that went out the window because his grandkids were here. And I don't think we had to deal with, like, those pressures then.
Yeah, and one thing I remember, because again, he died in about 2009, so I was 7 at the time. He died in March. So I was 7, but what I do remember is he was very buttoned up, clean. He kept everything orderly, but he was also very strict, but he loved us. I know that for a fact. He had a soft spot for his grandkids, but he was very strict if the time came. So I do remember that.
If he needed to be.
Yeah. And his house was freaking insane.
Insane. Like, he had a sunroom off his living room. Well, he had 2 living rooms. One had all white furniture.
All white room.
He loved his grandkids, but we were not allowed to be in there. At all.
Sometimes I would sneak walk through there and try not to, like, leave footprints or anything. I'll try to move real quick.
Yeah, and he had that all white living room, and he had his living room that had his favorite recliner, and then it would be his office, but he would turn his office into our bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I still remember what his house smells like. I still remember what his bathroom looks like. I still remember what the sunroom looks like. I mean, and the downstairs
was insane.
The favorite part of his house was the peanut machine that you just turn and peanuts would fall out. And at his house, I would always play with the things that are in the wall, like the swirl things, and I would just hit them. I'm like,
he had this, it always creeped me out as a kid. He had this Bobby Brown, or James Brown. It was an I Feel Good song. He had like a miniature thing that looked like him, and it danced, and it would sing, I feel good. And it was so creepy, and Marcus would always turn it on whenever I was down there, because I hated that thing.
He would turn it on and walk away.
I hated that thing.
Trying to traumatize you. All right. Let's do some funny questions now. What's the weirdest or most annoying rule at each house?
Oh, well, for sure here the phones.
Yeah, the phones were nuts. The annoying rules to me were anything game related because I would get in trouble a decent bit as a kid. So there was one time they didn't let me put Wi-Fi on my PS4 for like 6 months.
Here?
No, at Bread Out Kills. Remember when I got suspended? They let me use the PS4, but I couldn't be online. So I got used to not playing with anyone for 6 months straight.
Oh my god.
I think the phones, oh my gosh, the curfew. I was so upset, like so upset about this curfew. And the thing is that he wouldn't have one. Or if he would like randomly go out, they'd be like, 3 a.m. What?
3 a.m.
The day shoots, I would barely go out.
Okay, but midnight.
I didn't really go out till I was in college.
The only time I would not have a curfew, I lie to you not, is if I was with that was the only time.
I always had a curfew. It was 10 o'clock at night. Even whenever I was 20 and 21.
And then it was COVID time. I mean,
COVID was a great time.
We would hang out every single day. And then the rule was, if, dad was home, I had to be in at 12. It couldn't be 12:01, 12:03, 12:05. Don't care if I was stuck at the light. I remember one day I came in, Mallow was at the door barking. It had to be like 12:45. I was like, he's a snitch. So I come in, try to creep past the door. Our stepdad goes, you like staying out late? I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, dang.
Right. Who was the biggest snack hookup? Parents or step-parents?
Oh, our dad and stepmom's house.
Yeah.
You want to go to Sam's? Go downstairs to their house.
Everything is in there. It's massive. It's crazy.
Drinks, snacks,
for
popsicles, ice cream, and they even got the food. So, like, if you needed a good snack, if you looked up and said, I could go for a bag of cheese. It's like the Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah, it's just in there. It's just in their pantry.
Did either of you try to play both sides for extra screen time or treats?
Yes. Yeah. Whenever I wasn't allowed to play GTA, I would ask my dad if he could give me GTA 4, and he got it for me. And what we did so I didn't get caught with it was I knew mom would always be out before me, but home after me. So I would have him put the video game I wanted in the mailbox. And I would come home from school, get the mail, the video game's in there, I'd be playing GTA. Or he bought me GTA 5 and I'd play on the PS4. Then whenever mom got home at like 6, 7 o'clock, I'd be home from school for like 2, 3 hours. And then I would like instantly hide the game after.
I honestly don't, I didn't play both sides for like snacks and screen time. But if I wanted something, like if I told mom like for school I wanted a certain pair of shoes, like she would get us whatever we wanted, like for school. But I would try to double dip and like go to my dad and be like, oh, I didn't get these for school, even though they were in my closet, but I want to get them in a different color.
Any funny stories where parents and step-parents accidentally showed up at the same place?
No, it's not a funny story. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I wanted, for instance, like my wedding, I wanted my dad and my stepdad to walk me down. And that was a huge hurt piece that my dad wasn't at my wedding. And I wanted both of them to walk me down because they both are a major part of my life. And my stepdad was more than, welcoming to do that. Even if I would have said to my stepdad that I wanted my dad to walk me down, he would say, okay. So that was a big hurt piece that I had to get over. But me and my dad squashed it. I don't think anything else.
Honestly, there wasn't anything accidentally. It was just, bigger events. It was awkward just because it was like mostly be our family there and then them. So, I mean, it wasn't anything accidentally though.
Or like if it was like birthday dinner.
Yeah.
Then I would be like really awkward and I would like thank everybody for coming, but then my anxiety would get so bad so I'll cry about it. So I would sit down. Like then we would all go to Olive Garden for my birthday or somebody's birthday and yeah. That's all. All right, my turn, little bro, to ask you questions. What was it like having me as your older sister while all this was going on?
I mean, I think I took it for granted. Like again, at that time, I didn't really see like my siblings or anybody as like other humans. I just seen them as my sibling. So like, I didn't recognize that you were going through like the same thing as me at the time. But I think I took it for granted because we were decently close, especially that year we were in high school together. We basically like see each other in the hallway every day. So I mean, it wasn't bad. Like I guess we were opposite, so we kind of worked. She was the dramatic one, the loud one, and I was more like the laid back, like oh yeah, like that one.
Don't forget
Yeah,
sarcastic.
sarcastic one. So like it wasn't bad. I can't complain about it. At the time, I wish I would have. If I could go back and like cherish it more, I definitely would.
I mean, yeah. I mean, now that we're older, I mean, everybody's like, "You as a little bro." I'm like, ugh, you're annoying. Like, but like, he really didn't annoy me. Like, he was a baby. Like, when we were in high school together, I'll never forget. Somebody was like, "Your brother's over in the ninth grade hallway fighting." I was like, "Please don't tell me that," because like, see, your hallway's all over here. He's all over there. I run over and like he's not there. Like, I was super protective of him. I mean, I still am, but I really don't have to be. Like, he can stand up on his own. But being the older sister, like, you want to protect your younger siblings. And like, I think for me, it was I didn't understand what he was feeling. Like, I couldn't understand what he was feeling because he didn't express that. But I knew that he was feeling some type of way when he would be visibly upset. Mm-hmm. Like, there was like a few situations where he was like genuinely upset, and I'm like, okay, now my tears don't mean shit because now he's mad. And like, if he's upset, then I know that the situation is more than what it should be. Did you ever come to me for advice about mom, dad, or step parents?
I don't think I ever like came like sat down and say like I need to ask you about it, but I felt like there were some like tidbits in our conversations that kind of helped us, or I would like move based on your actions. So like basically like once you started opening up to like our stepdad and like actually like accepting him, I felt like it was more acceptable for me to like give it a shot. You know what I mean? So like I was kind of moving off your movements without saying anything.
Yeah.
So like basically, if you'd have hated Mr. Scott, I would have probably backed you on that with no basis in anything. But once you like opened up to him and really got to know him and like really accepted him, I felt like okay, now if my sister's okay with it, then I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't know. It wasn't really asking for advice, but I was definitely following your footsteps.
I think I asked him for advice now. Like, I asked him more advice, and I think it should probably be the other way around. But I go to him about, so it could be like something like really really small. I go to him about almost everything. But when it comes to like our stepmom and our dad, like, he talks to our dad more. Like, listen, I love my dad to death, but if I call him, he's not going to answer. If he calls him, he'll answer the phone, or he'll call me right back. And then like, my schedule is crazy, and so is our dad's schedule is crazy. So if I call him when he's in a crazy moment and he'll call me back, I probably can't answer. Or I even try to, like, if I know I see him calling me, I don't even care if I'm like on the call. Like, I'll answer it. Like, can I call you back in an hour? And let me know if you're available. Because if you're not available, I'm not going to hear from you for 48 hours. Like, because his schedule is so crazy. Like, and then by the time he comes home, he's exhausted. He goes to sleep. So I try to find grace in that too. Because when I come home, I don't want to talk to anybody either. But I also don't see him every day.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a time you wish that I was more stricter or maybe more chill with you?
I'll probably say high school. It was it wasn't really you, but it was like you being at Propel for going into your fourth year, and us having the same last name. It was more everyone else was more strict because they're like, oh, I know your sister, or like, oh, I'll tell Angel. So it was more like you being there was like, oh my goodness, like it was like I was in the shadow of you, and you were also big in the musicals and everything. So you were kind of a name around. You were playing an instrument with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. You were doing all that, so like I was kind of living up to a name, and you were already there. So it was more like the shadow of you was kind of strict, but you weren't strict.
Yeah, I mean, it also didn't help that our school was like so small. Like, we all had the same teachers. I think your ninth grade year, like, I didn't have Miss Yanoff. Mm-hmm. We didn't have her. What the heck was that? Yeah, science teacher.
Yeah, she was a science teacher, and she was also my homeroom teacher for
forget who our
2
science
years.
teacher was. But, like, we didn't have, like, 3 of your teachers we didn't have, but, like, you had Mr. Gula because you did ultimate frisbee. You had did you have Mr. Fuchs?
Yes.
So, like, and you had Mr. Bauer.
Yes.
Like, we had some teachers, but we didn't have the same teachers. But the teachers that we did have,
Yeah.
they knew how I was in the classroom.
Yeah, and like I had Mr. Baker for a couple times, and he was big with the musicals. With can't remember who was
Miss Brantz.
Yeah. Anyone down the senior hallway.
Miss B.
And like so everyone already knew of you. They were like, because like during roll call, they would be like, Starks, are you Angelica's little brother? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I know her. I'm like, oh, I can see how this is gonna go.
Oh yay!
I was like, we have another one.
Yeah.
What's one thing you think I totally got right or totally missed when it came to helping you through this whole divorce situation?
Well, one thing I think you got totally right, which wasn't really a conscious thing, was like not making it a big deal to me. You know, because at the time, again, I didn't really understand it. So even if you did come to me with as it being a big deal, and like you came to me with like the sky is falling, like this is the worst case scenario, I would have, one, thought you were over exaggerated, two, thought you were annoying me, and three, would have never listened to what you said. But you not really making it a huge deal to me kind of helped me not make it a big deal to myself. Because then I would have started overthinking at that time. And, you know, being a kid growing up, as a kid, your biggest fear is you getting your shoes getting made fun of in middle school. You know what I mean? So imagine having the weight of everything else. I felt like it would have led to me probably lashing out or just over analyzing everything with, you know, our dad. So like it not being a big deal kind of helped me, even though it was a big deal.
Yeah, and I think I took that out of Ashley's book. Like, Ashley and Marcus handle things completely differently. Like, they handle like two separate sides of the spectrum, right? And I took it out of Ashley's book. Like, I would ask her sometimes, like, is mom okay? Like, she's fine. She's just going through something. So, like, if Ashley wasn't doing that to me, there's no way that I would do that to you. I think that I followed actually in Ashley's footsteps. So, yeah.
I mean, I felt like all the siblings were very protective of me, especially being the youngest. And Ashley, we already have a long storied history of Ashley loving me as a kid. Like basically
you were her baby.
Yeah, but she was basically the second mom to me as a kid. So like they were super protective of me. So it wasn't a big deal until I could actually understand what happened, which I think kind of helped me.
Yeah, and I also I would say like our mom also would say like, I'm not going to go into detail about X, Y, and Z, but I want you to be able to know for yourself and have your feelings on your own, so it doesn't come from me, and I don't want to sway you to think one way and it's the complete opposite. And if anybody's listening to this, I will say that we wanted to have this podcast episode to just get a better look and go in depth with like a different perspective, especially since, you know, I'm the older sister and he's the youngest brother. But also, like, this does not change how we feel about our parents in the slightest. Like, the love I have for my mom and my dad is unmatched. Like, I would do anything for either one of them. And I think both of our parents know that. But also, this podcast is to be built to be transparent and to be vulnerable and open about conversations of things that might not happen in your life, but can happen in somebody else's, and somebody who can actually learn from that and how to cope with these things.
All right. Rapid fire question time. Quick answers only, please. Who sneaks your favorite snacks more? Step parent or step parent?
My stepdad loves chocolate.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah, and I like real salty stuff, so like peanuts and all that. Yeah.
Most annoying rule at each house?
Phones.
Phone rule, and at my dad's house, everyone has to say hello to you. It's so awkward.
Who embarrasses you more in front of friends?
I wouldn't say embarrass.
I think all my friends like both.
I mean, like it's always a good time here.
Yeah.
And there.
Who's stricter about curfews or weekend plans?
Mom growing up.
Mom.
What's one thing you borrowed from the other house without asking?
I don't think I have.
I don't think I took anything from our dad's house. Probably Tupperware here.
True. Oh, I had a lot of stuff in college. Yeah, my call department was basically funded by this. Yeah.
Which parent or step parent actually watched your favorite shows with you?
Our dad really doesn't watch TV. He's all sports. So I would say like.
Okay, then I would say my dad because we watch sports every Sunday together.
So my mom, I think, and my stepdad, like he will try, but he watched like 3 minutes of Wicked, and I was content.
But yeah, whenever y'all were watching back in the day, like Pretty Little Liars, that one gymnast show.
Oh, Make It or Break It.
Yeah, that stuff. I remember y'all watching that all the time.
Who keeps the better snack stash?
Dad.
Best excuse you used to skip going to one parent's or step parent's house?
I started my period.
I don't think I had good excuses. I don't think I could think of a good one.
Listen, even though that was a excuse, guess who was still going to her dad's house? With the bag and all. We'll stop at CVS. It's okay. We'll get you everything.
Who cries more during movies?
Oh, Mom.
Mom.
For sure.
If you could combine the best parts of all houses, what would you pick?
I would put the freedom and snacks from our dad's house into this house, but I would keep the vibes of this house because there's always noise. It's always like music playing. You'll know where everyone's at.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's a good answer.
Okay. Thank you both for sharing such honest and personal stories today. Growing up in a family that doesn't fit the traditional mold, whether it's divorced parents, step parents, or married parents, comes with its own challenges and wounds. But it also comes with an incredible strength that often goes unseen.
It's true. Sometimes the hardest stories to tell are the ones that shape us the most. But sharing these stories, being vulnerable, and embracing the messiness, that's where the healing begins.
Family isn't about perfection, it's about the love that persists through the broken moments, the unexpected laughter, and the resilience to keep going when it feels impossible.
To everyone listening who's navigating complicated family dynamics, your experience is valid, your feelings matter, and your story deserves to be heard. You are not alone.
We see you, we hear you, and we hold space for you here in the Laughing Lounge. Thank you for trusting us with your time and your stories. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
We love you all, and thank you, baby brother, for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me.
See you next week in the Laughing Lounge.